close your eyes. Somewhere, a version of you just did the same. There is a stillness waiting, and it begins with a breath. Not the kind you notice, but the kind you drift into. As your body settles, and your thoughts begin to loosen from the shape of the day, you find yourself at the edge of something quiet. It is not a place with walls. It has no shape, no floor, no sky. And yet, there is a door. A door without a frame. It stands on nothing. It leans on air. It holds no lock, no handle, no sign. And still, it is a door you recognize. Not because you've seen it before, but because it feels like something you've always known. It waits with patience. It does not rush. It does not call, but it is there, and you are standing before it. Behind you, the hum of the familiar, the gravity of choices you made without even knowing. Ahead, something lighter, not brighter, but deeper, like the silence after music. The door is not made of wood or metal. It is made of awareness, a gentle threshold between now and not quite now. You are not required to open it, but you feel it opening anyway, not swinging, but unfolding, not away from you, but into you, as if your breath is the key and your stillness the invitation. And when you pass through, there is no sound, just a softness, a warmth, the kind that wraps you without touch. On the other side, there is not a world. Not yet. There is potential. The shimmer of beginnings before they decide what shape to take. A hush where the universe has not yet spoken. You are not dreaming. Not exactly. You are entering a place where stories wait to be told, where time folds like paper and every fold opens into something new. This door without a frame is not the start of a journey. It is the start of every journey. Each time you sleep, it appears again. Not in the same place, not with the same feeling, but with the same invitation. And every time you walk through, you do so as a slightly different version of yourself, not changed by the world, but changed by your willingness to step away from what is fixed. You may wonder what lies beyond. You may wonder how far this path leads, but tonight you do not need to know. You only need to walk slowly, breathe gently, and trust that the door has opened for a reason. You are safe here. You are floating now. The world behind you has softened. The one ahead is listening. Let it begin. The first split does not arrive with a sound. It does not crack or flash or ripple the air. It simply unfolds, like a breath becoming two. You have already stepped through the door without a frame. And now you are floating in a space that feels softer than silence. Nothing here is urgent. Nothing demands your attention. But something is happening just beyond your awareness. A quiet shift. A divergence. You do not see it at first, but you feel it. The way you feel warmth, even with your eyes closed. It is not dramatic. It is not a fork in the road. It is gentler than that. A thought that becomes two thoughts. A moment that becomes two paths. One path keeps going. The other begins its own slow drift. And suddenly, the world is not one thing anymore. It is two, and then four. And then more than numbers can hold. The first split is not caused by fear or choice or even change. It happens because possibility always wants more room. You are still floating, still safe. But around you, the air begins to hold echoes. Echoes of moments you did not live, but almost did. They pass by like shadows cast by candlelight, each one familiar in a way that does not need memory. In one, you turned left instead of right. In another, you stayed silent instead of speaking. In one, you never met someone you thought you couldn't live without. In one, you stayed. In another, you left. They are all versions of you. Not better, not worse. Just true in different ways. And the universe does not reject any of them. It holds them all, like pages in a book written in every direction at once. The first split is the moment when the universe stops being singular, when it becomes a tree instead of a line, a field instead of a path. You are not choosing which branch to follow. You are becoming aware that the branches are there, and that they always were. This is not something to fix or escape. It is something to witness. It is the beginning of everything else. The place where the story does not end but multiplies. You may feel a slight shimmer now, a drifting sensation. That is not you falling. It is you expanding. Because with every breath, with every moment you do not notice, more versions of you are unfolding. They are not distant. They are not foreign. They are simply waiting for you to remember. You are not dividing. You are revealing. Let the first split carry you. Let it show you how wide your life already is. The moment you pass through the first split, you begin to notice reflections that do not belong to mirrors. They shimmer softly around you, not with light, but with memory. Not your memory, and yet somehow deeply familiar. You are still drifting, still held by sleep. But now, the space around you begins to shift, slowly, tenderly, as if you've entered a hall, made not of glass, but of time itself. You look in every direction and find not images of your face, but impressions of lives. Versions of you that feel like breath caught mid-air, suspended just long enough to feel. In one, you are older. In another, younger. Some versions stand beside people you've never met. Some walk alone under different skies. None of them wave. None speak. But their silence is not cold. It is full. A gentle chorus of other paths, other moments. It is not chaos. It is not confusion. It is structure. An infinite mirror is not meant to dazzle. It is meant to calm, to show you how wide your being really is. Each version of you holds a slightly different shape, the way waves hold different rhythms, though they are born of the same sea. Some versions carry pain you do not remember. Some carry joy you never earned, and yet you feel both as if they are yours, because they are. Every choice, every unspoken hesitation, every what-if has been cradled somewhere, and here, in this mirror, you are allowed to see them, not to change them, not to judge them, just to feel their presence and know they are not lost. Some shine brighter, some stay in shadow, some flicker softly like stars just beyond recognition, but all of them are you, not fiction, not fantasy, you. This is not imagination. This is awareness expanded. The mirror does not ask questions. It reflects the truths that sleep makes room for. You are not just the person who lay down to rest tonight. You are also the one who never came home. The one who stayed. The one who left. The one who tried again. And in this space, none of them are wrong. There is no better version. There is only a wider understanding, a gentle seeing. The mirror grows with each breath you take. It does not end, and you are not walking through it. You are part of it. You are both the reflection and the light. Let yourself soften. Let yourself widen. You are not remembering a dream. You are remembering yourself. Worlds that whisper past hours as you float among the reflections of yourself. You begin to sense a new kind of presence, not shaped like you, not speaking in your thoughts, but brushing gently at the edges of awareness. These are not versions of you. These are other worlds, entire realities that breathe beside your own, quietly, carefully, like neighbors behind walls too thick for voices to pass, but thin enough for vibrations to hum through. They do not announce themselves. They do not knock, but they are there, as steady as your heartbeat, whispering from behind the veil of what we call real. Imagine lying still in your bed, hearing the rain outside your window. You cannot see it. You cannot touch it. But you know it's there because the sound reaches you. That is how these worlds feel. Their presence is soft, their shape unknown, but the whisper of their being moves through the quiet, like a low note that keeps playing even after the music stops. Some are warm, some are still. Some stretch like wind across fields you've never walked, and each one hums its own language, not in words, but in feeling. Some feel familiar, as if they once brushed against your dreams. Others feel strange, as if their rules are written in a grammar your mind was never taught. In one, time might fold like cloth. In another, colors may sing. Gravity may pull upward. Thought may create light. You cannot visit them the way you travel through streets, but you pass near them in sleep, just close enough to feel their pulse. You do not need to understand these worlds. They are not asking to be solved. They are not puzzles. They are presence, and just by existing beside them, your world becomes more than it was. The multiverse is not a place of noise and confusion. It is a field of quiet symphonies, each playing a slightly different melody, each waiting to be heard by those who can still their thoughts enough to listen. And tonight, you are listening. Your breath is steady, your body is light, and your awareness is open. You are not drifting through empty space. You are floating through a gallery of realities, each painting its story in colors you've never seen. And even though you may forget them by morning, the peace they offer stays. It lingers in your chest like warmth from a hand you did not know was holding yours. These worlds are not fiction. They are not far. They are near, and they whisper not for attention, but for company. The shape of the tree. You've been drifting through reflections, through whispers, through the softness of unseen worlds. And now you begin to feel something more structured rising beneath you. Not firm like ground, but shaped, gentle, deliberate. It is not a road, not a thread. It is something wider, something older. The shape of it comes slowly into your mind, not with lines or maps, but with feeling like touching the bark of a tree you cannot see. A tree not of wood, but of time. Its trunk is this moment, and from this moment, everything branches. Every thought, every possibility, every choice, not just yours, but those of the universe itself. The branches stretch outward in all directions, not up or down, but forward and backward and sideways and through. This is not the tree of life. It is the tree of becoming. Its roots lie in every beginning, and its tips reach into futures that may never arrive. Time does not move like a river here. It blossoms like petals opening all at once, and you are not on a single branch. You are part of the tree itself. In one path, you are sleeping beneath stars that hum. In another, you are made of light. In another, you never left the place you now dream of. And yet, each version touches the others in quiet ways. A breeze in one branch may stir the leaves of another. The tree does not choose which branch to grow. It grows them all. It holds no preference. No judgment, only possibility. And in that structure, there is peace. You are not trapped in one future. You are woven into many. Some paths are long, some short, some bend and twist and fold back into themselves. Some reach toward light you cannot yet see. And just like the rings of a tree record its years, the multiverse holds the memory of all your steps, even the ones you did not take. You are not a visitor to this tree. You are its leaf, its root, its seed. And though your eyes may never see its full shape, your soul remembers. That quiet sense of potential, that knowing, somewhere deep, that you have always been more than one thread. Sleep does not separate you from this truth. It opens you to it. You are not deciding which path to follow. You are breathing among them, feeling the shape of all that could be. Let the branches hold you. Let the roots steady you. The tree does not need to be climbed. It only needs to be trusted. Imagine now a sky that never happened. Not a stormy sky, not a cloudy one, but a sky that simply wasn't. You float gently upward from the branching tree, not climbing, not rising fast, but drifting like a leaf on calm air. And as you lift, the light begins to shift. Something soft fades away behind you, the warmth of what you knew, the familiarity of stars arranged just so. And ahead, a canvas begins to stretch, vast and untouched, but not empty. It is not dark. It is not bright. It is something in between. In this sky, the colors are not bound by rules. They do not blend as they do in your world. They exist beside each other like thoughts, vibrant, silent, alive. In one patch, the sky breathes in slow, violet pulses. In another, it hums with deep gold, though there is no sun. You look around and find no moon, no familiar constellations. The patterns you know have never been drawn here. This is a sky from a universe where blue never became the color of day, where light bends in different laws, where atoms arrange themselves in unexpected harmony. This is not a broken sky. It is simply one that followed another path. Perhaps in this reality, the particles that make up air are heavier, or sound moves more swiftly than light. Or maybe time itself began in a different sequence, folding and stretching like fabric before it chose direction. And so, the sky looks like this. Not with clouds, but with motion. Not with sunrises, but with waves of awareness that pass overhead. As you lie there, floating just beneath this unfamiliar firmament, you are not confused. You are not afraid. You are curious. Your breath slows as your thoughts open wider. What else might exist in places where the sky never turned blue? What songs might birds sing where the air sounds different? What stories rise from land untouched by shadow? You begin to understand, not with logic, but with presence, that this place is not broken. It is complete in a different way. You are not meant to stay here, but you are welcome to witness, to float beneath this sky that never happened in your world, and still exists here, peacefully. It does not need to be understood. It only needs to be felt. Let it wash over you. Let it soften the edges of what you thought was possible. Let it remind you that the universe does not run out of ways to be beautiful. The sky that never happened slowly fades behind you, and as you drift further, something stirs in the air around you, not sound, not movement, but presence. It is subtle at first, a weightless echo, a familiarity you cannot place, and then you see them, not clearly, not all at once, just a figure standing where there should be none, not far, not near, just beside the edge of your knowing. And as your awareness focuses, you realize you are looking at yourself, but not quite. This version of you moves a little differently, carries something in their posture, in their silence. Their face is yours, but their eyes hold different stories. A different thread has shaped them, pulled them gently into another becoming. Perhaps they stayed when you left, or spoke when you went quiet, or forgave when you were not ready. Whatever it was, it shaped them, and now they exist beside you. Not in competition, not in comparison, just in coexistence. You are not startled. You feel no need to question. Instead, you observe the way they hold their hands, the softness or strength in their gaze. You see the weight they carry, the ease they've earned, the people who surround them, or the solitude they wear. All of it is a result of some quiet shift, some small divergence that echoed into a life. And yet, they are you, completely, authentically, truly. There is no pretending here, just presence. And slowly, you begin to notice more. Another you walks quietly beneath trees that don't grow in your world. Another stands by water that shimmers with a different kind of moonlight. Another smiles at someone you've never met. Each version of you is both familiar and foreign. You feel no envy, no regret, just awe. You are not limited to one version. You are a chorus, a constellation, and each voice is valid. Each path is real. In some universes, you never made the choice that kept you up at night. In others, you made it sooner, or not at all. But none of those choices made you more or less whole. They simply formed variations, each one learning, each one feeling, each one carrying a piece of the greater story that is you. And as you drift beside these other selves, you feel something sacred rise in you, a gentleness, a forgiveness, a knowing that even the path you're on now, with all its weight and wonder, is just one of many songs you are singing. Let that settle into your breath. You are not alone. You are not only. You are not fixed. You are you, but not quite, and that is the most beautiful truth of all. As you drift away from the versions of yourself, from the you who stayed and the you who left, from the you who became someone else entirely, something begins to settle within you, a question, light as dust and just as impossible to grasp. How does it all begin? How does the universe decide which path becomes real? The answer does not arrive in words, but in an image, a single die suspended in stillness, ready to roll. But when it falls, it does not choose a number. It chooses all of them. This is the quantum world, and it does not behave the way you expect. There is no single outcome, no fixed path. Every possible result is allowed. When a particle moves, it does not walk one line, it walks every line. When a decision is made, the universe does not commit. It branches, splits, rolls again, and again, and again, until the air is thick with the dust of every possible becoming. These are not theories to memorize. These are truths to feel, because they mirror the way your life often feels, uncertain, complex, filled with moments where more than one thing could have happened. In your waking hours, you may try to simplify, to believe there was only one right choice, one real you. But here, floating weightless through the hush of sleep, you are allowed to know the deeper truth. The universe does not pick sides. It explores all of them. It does not judge outcomes. It expands them. The dice are not a game of chance. They are a language of freedom. In one universe, you spoke. In another, you stayed silent. In one, you left early. In another, you waited. And none of them are wrong. They are simply outcomes of the same role, cast through possibility. You are not at the mercy of chaos. You are part of a system that honors every option, that respects each outcome enough to let it unfold. Let that comfort you now. Let that ease the sharpness of all your past regrets. You were never meant to be perfect. You were meant to be many, meant to be layered and wide and beautifully uncertain. You are not a single result. You are the echo of every role. And even now, as you breathe gently into the dark, more dice are falling. More stories are beginning. You don't need to understand the math. You only need to rest inside the wonder. The universe is not demanding answers. It is inviting you to feel the peace that comes from letting go of certainty. The quantum dice are rolling, softly, endlessly, and somewhere. Every version of you is landing safely. The dice keep falling, and the branches keep unfolding. And as you drift deeper, something begins to happen in the space between those branches. At first, it feels like a hum, low and steady, like the sound of deep water pressing against the hull of a quiet ship. But then you begin to sense patterns where none should exist. A glance that arrives before the thought. A memory that does not belong to you. A touch of déjà vu that lingers longer than it should. These are the signs of tangled realities, not mistakes, not errors, just echoes of threads that cross, gently, briefly, like fingers brushing in passing. In the quantum world, particles can become entangled. When one moves, the other knows, even across vast distances. And here, in the dreaming space between worlds, something similar stirs. It is not science you must solve. It is presence you must feel. You are not alone in your thread. Another version of you is moving nearby, close enough that your lives have begun to resonate. You may never meet, you may never speak, but the rhythm of their choices touches yours, like ripples meeting on the surface of a still lake. Perhaps this is why sometimes you feel something before it happens, or why dreams carry the weight of lives you never lived. The walls between realities are not hard. They are woven, soft, porous in places. And when the weave shifts just right, you sense it. You sense her smile before you know her. You hear a song you have never heard, yet remember every note. You visit a place for the first time and feel like you are returning. These are not tricks. These are threads crossing. They do not threaten you. They do not break the rules. They remind you that the universe is not a straight path, but a tapestry, and each thread can brush against another. Tonight, as you float gently in this quiet web of lives, let yourself feel the gentle tension of these crossings. You are not being pulled apart. You are being gently reminded that your existence is part of something wider, something deeper. Tangled does not mean broken. It means connected. You are not unraveling. You are in motion, wrapped softly in a cosmic dance you do not need to lead. Just feel it. Let it hum around you. Let the threads that brush your own bring comfort. Let them whisper to you the quiet truth that you are part of more than you can see. And that somewhere out there, something that knows you is moving too. Sometimes you remember things that never happened. A voice saying your name in a moment that never came. A hand you never held. A house you've never lived in, but can still walk through in your mind. These are not tricks of imagination. These are echoes, fragments that drift across the spaces between worlds. You are lying still now, your breath soft and your thoughts open. And in this calm, the echoes grow clearer. They are not loud. They do not insist. They drift in like mist, barely noticed until you are surrounded. A feeling of having said something before. A sudden wave of emotion with no source. The scent of rain from a street you've never walked. These are the moments when you brush against another version of yourself. One who did live that day. One who did speak those words. Their memory does not belong to you in the way a photograph belongs in an album. It belongs to the wider version of you, the one scattered gently across countless branches. And in sleep, when the mind is less strict about what is allowed and what is not, these pieces float through. They are not trying to confuse you. They are reminders, not of who you are, but of how much more there is. In one world, you learned to play a song you've never touched here. In another, you said goodbye sooner. In yet another, you never left. The memories that don't belong are not accidents. They are softness leaking through the seams of separation. Like notes from another room. They reach you without clarity, but with deep feeling. You may wake with a name on your lips that has no place in your life. You may feel joy or sorrow you cannot explain. Let it come. Let it pass. These are glimpses of lives nearby. Lives you are not living here, but that live through you nonetheless. The mind does not need to remember only what is seen. It remembers what is possible. And in a universe that holds all possibilities, your memory becomes a net, catching not just your past, but the shimmer of parallel tides. So when a scene unfolds in your dreams that feels too familiar, too full, too real to ignore, do not dismiss it. Let it settle. Let it be part of you. You are not losing your place. You are gaining your depth. These memories do not belong in the way objects do. They belong the way stars belong to the night sky, distant, luminous, quietly present. Let them light your sleep, gently and without question. Not every dream is made of fantasy. Some carry the gravity of truth. A hallway you've never seen, yet know the doorways by heart. A city with skies too vast for maps, where you still remember how the wind feels. A stranger whose eyes speak a language your heart understands without learning. These are not inventions of sleep. They are visits. For while you rest, your awareness loosens its grip on what must be real and drifts softly into what might be. And in that space, something remarkable happens. You cross. Not with your body, not with your voice, but with the quiet part of you that listens, that feels, that remembers. The dreaming mind does not build only from memory. It builds from resonance, from lives nearby, from threads almost yours. You are not just imagining new places. You are brushing against them, skimming the surface of realities that hum just beyond waking. These are the worlds you've dreamed. Some are peaceful, others strange. A few feel like home in a way this world never fully did. And yet, they are all part of you. When you wake with the feeling that you've lost something, you haven't. You've simply returned from a place. Your feet never touched, but your soul has known. These dreams do not demand action. They do not pull. They drift. They offer, and they remind you that you are not bound to one story. In one dream, you live beside oceans that rise and fall with your breath. In another, you dance through forests where light sings from every leaf. In some, you find answers to questions you've never asked aloud. These are not accidents. These are touches from the multiverse. Quiet affirmations that the you who wanders is not alone. The sleeping self becomes a traveler, not to escape, but to remember that the fabric of reality is not woven tightly, that it allows for softness, for crossing, for glimpses. You are not meant to live in every world you visit, but you are meant to feel them, to be reminded of their nearness. Let your dreams continue to carry you, not as stories to decode, but as songs to be held. You do not need to explain them. You only need to let them leave their warmth behind. In the morning, you may forget the details, but the feeling stays. That sense of having been elsewhere, of having belonged. Let that comfort you now as you drift again into the quiet space between stars, where the worlds you've dreamed wait patiently, gently, always close. You may not have noticed, but you have already begun to slide. Not with footsteps, not with effort, but with stillness. As you rest, as your breath deepens and your body sinks into quiet, something inside you moves, not forward or backward, but across. It is not a leap. It is a slide, a gentle shift in the fabric beneath your mind. You are not leaving one world and entering another. You are slipping between them, as easily as your thoughts wander between memories and dreams. There is no noise to mark the moment, no border to cross. 1 second you are here, and the next you are somewhere just different enough to notice. The air smells of something forgotten. The light feels warmer or colder. A name comes to you, full of meaning, though you do not know why. These are not details your mind has invented. They are signals, traces from the threads you are passing through. In sleep, your mind softens its grip on logic. It opens its arms to sensation. And in that openness, the edges of one reality blur into the next. You may feel as though you are gliding along glass, smooth and frictionless, but you are moving through possibilities, sliding along the quiet seams that connect every version of what might be. It is not disorienting. It is not alarming. It is a glide like floating in a slow river, watching the banks shift subtly as you pass. One world has the sound of birds you have never heard. Another glows with twilight that never ends. In one, gravity feels just slightly different, enough that your steps become softer. These are not dreams. They are crossings. Your mind, untethered by waking expectation, can touch them. You are not meant to stay. You are meant to pass through, to gather the feelings that wait in these quiet corners. And when you wake, you carry them with you. A softness, a sense that reality is not fixed, but fluid. You may think of a friend you have not met. You may long for a place that does not exist here. These are echoes of the slide, gentle traces of where your awareness has wandered. Let yourself drift through them now. No need to choose. No need to hold on. Just slide. Just listen. Just feel the hum of lives beside yours, brushing softly against your own, like trees whose branches touch in the wind. You are not falling. You are not floating. You are gliding across the quiet sea of what might have been. Sometimes, the space between realities is not enough to keep them apart. Sometimes, they drift too close. Their edges touch. Their rules ripple. And for a brief, delicate moment, two universes collide. Not with fire, not with fury, but with a deep, silent unfolding. You may not know when it happens, but you feel it. The way a dream becomes too vivid, the way a thought feels borrowed, the way a memory arrives that carries no date, no origin, yet lands inside you as if it has always belonged. These are not accidents. These are signs of overlap. For all the space that separates the branches of reality, There are moments when those branches twist and bend and brush against each other, sometimes gently, sometimes with more force. When they do, strange things are born. A familiar face with a different name, a coincidence too perfect, a whisper of a language you do not speak but suddenly understand. These are not glitches. They are the marks left behind when two worlds have touched. Some say this is how new realities are formed, not by branching, but by merging, two possibilities folding into one, like rivers meeting. You may dream of a city you have never visited, but know the streets. You may feel the ache of a loss you never lived. These are memories from the other side, fragments carried across the seam. You are not meant to carry them all, only to witness. You are not caught between. You are passing through, just as stars collide in slow, silent spirals that take millions of years. So do realities drift, connect, and sometimes fold together. This is not chaos. It is the rhythm of the multiverse. In the stillness of sleep, when your thoughts grow light and your breath steady, you are allowed to feel it, not with fear, but with reverence. You are not lost. You are part of the soft unfolding. Two worlds may brush through you as you rest, leaving behind the warmth of what both could have been. Let that warmth stay. Let it fill the spaces you did not know were waiting. When universes collide, they do not destroy. They create. And you, in this moment, are gently held within the quiet beauty of their meeting. The sound of a split. If you listen closely, there is a sound that accompanies every turning point in the universe. Not a bang, not a crash, just a change, a subtle shift that hums just below perception, like a breeze through unseen leaves. This is the sound of a split. You do not hear it with your ears. You feel it with your being, like when a thought appears fully formed, like when a decision lingers in your chest before it's ever made. The multiverse does not shout when it creates. It whispers, and every whisper is a new beginning. You may not notice when it happens, because the moment a split begins, you are already inside it. The road ahead quietly multiplies. One version of you turns left, another waits, another walks on, and the moment stretches like soft light across all of them. The sound is not in the action. It is in the becoming. It is not loud. It does not ask for attention. It rests in the gentle awareness that something has changed, that something new has taken root, even if the world looks the same. You may have felt it before, that quiet catch in your breath, that pause that stays a second too long, that sensation that the world has shifted, though no one else seems to notice. These are the moments when time branches, when reality expands, when you grow without knowing. The sound is the pulse of unfolding possibility. It plays beneath every hesitation, every instinct, every unseen choice. Tonight, as you rest in the quiet folds between worlds, you can feel the sound more clearly. It is not music, but it moves like a song. Not noise, but it carries rhythm. Each split adds a note to the great composition of your existence. You are not trapped in one melody. You are woven into a symphony. And even now, as you breathe calmly and deeply, somewhere in the vastness, another version of you begins. The sound moves with it, soft and sure. You do not need to follow. You only need to listen. You are not separate from the change. You are part of it. You are the echo, the vibration, the resonance. The sound of a split is not there to warn or worry. It is there to remind you that the universe is alive, that you are part of that aliveness, that every breath is a branch, and that every moment, even this one, carries the quiet possibility of something entirely new. A universe that remembers all. There is a place, or perhaps a state of being, where nothing is forgotten. Not a word, not a breath, not a branching or a turning away. A universe that remembers all. It does not archive memories like books on a shelf. It holds them the way a forest holds every leaf that ever fell, every root that ever grew. This universe is not made of stars or dust, but of memory itself. It glows softly with what has been and what could have been. Every possible outcome lives here, side by side, without confusion, without conflict. It remembers the path you took, and the ones you almost did. It remembers the moment you paused, the glance you almost gave, the kindness you considered, and the fear that held you back. But it does not judge. It does not weigh or measure. It simply holds. In this place, all that you are and all that you are not breathe together. There is no shame here, no regret, only fullness. You drift gently now through this space, your thoughts still, your breath steady, and you begin to feel the weight of all yourselves, not as burden, but as belonging. Every version of you that ever stepped forward or stayed behind is here. Every hope you've let go, every dream you've not spoken aloud, all of them rest here in quiet peace. This is not a destination. It is a presence, and within it you begin to soften, to release the grip on who you were supposed to be, to welcome the idea that all of you is worth remembering. The forgotten laughter, the unopened letter, the choice made in silence, all held, all known, all safe. This universe does not require you to recall each thread. It recalls for you, and as you pass through it, you do not need to make sense of anything. You only need to feel the warmth of being seen completely, entirely, without explanation. You are not scattered. You are gathered. This is not the end of the journey. It is the part where you realize you were never alone in your becoming. Every you has been walking beside you, and the universe, kind and vast and patient, has been listening the entire time. So breathe into this knowing. Let your thoughts rest. Let your heart beat slow. You are not drifting through space. You are gliding through memory, and the memory is yours. The quiet ones. Not all universes shine. Not all blaze with stars or hum with life. Some stay hidden, dark and silent, curled softly into themselves like unopened flowers. These are the quiet ones. Realities that never stretched far, never spun galaxies into spiral arms, never stirred oceans or carved mountains. Their beginnings were gentle, and so were their endings. You drift now toward one of them, not to explore, not to awaken, but simply to witness. There is no sound here, no movement, yet the silence does not feel empty. It feels sacred, as if the universe exhaled once, softly, and then chose stillness. Not every possibility must lead to something grand. Some are brief, some are small, some are silent by choice. These quiet universes are part of the whole, just as necessary as the ones bursting with stars. They remind you that existence is not measured by activity, that presence itself, even when unobserved, is enough. As you float through this dim, velvety hush, you begin to notice the texture of it, a calm that stretches endlessly, untouched by light, unmarked by time. This stillness does not ask you to hurry. It invites you to pause, to feel what it's like to be in a place where nothing is expected, nothing is demanded. You do not need to learn here. You do not need to change. You are simply allowed to be. And in that stillness, something inside you unwinds. The pressure to perform, to speak, to move, to understand, it all slips away. You are no less real here. You are no less worthy. The quiet ones may not tell stories, but they hold space for them. They are the blank pages between the written lines, the moments of silence between notes in a song. You do not need to stay long, just long enough to remember that even the universes that never lit a single star still belong. And so do you, even in your quietest moments. Even when you feel like nothing is happening, like nothing is changing, you are still here. You are still held. Let that knowing settle in your chest like a calm tide. The quiet ones have spoken, not in sound, but in peace. And as you drift onward, that peace drifts with you. A place where everything is true. There is a place, deeper still, where contradiction does not create confusion but harmony. A place where opposites do not argue but dance. Where yes and no live side by side. Where the path taken and the path abandoned both leave footprints in the same sand. You drift into it now, slowly, as if through warm mist. There is no resistance, no boundary to cross, just a gradual unfolding. A realization that you are somewhere that logic has loosened its grip. In this place, everything is true. Every version of you, every decision made or delayed, every life lived or left behind, all of them exist here not as separate stories, but as parts of one vast, breathing whole. You do not need to choose which one is real. They all are. You can be strong and uncertain, brave and afraid, lost and exactly where you're meant to be. This world welcomes your fullness. It does not divide, it weaves. You may glimpse yourself here as a child who never stopped asking questions, or as a stranger whose smile you recognize, but whose name you've never known. The light in this place carries all colors, not blended, but layered. They do not cancel each other. They amplify. In this universe, the things you once thought could not coexist now rest beside each other with ease. Joy and grief, hope and doubt, stillness and change. The harmony is not in sameness, but in acceptance. You begin to feel something gentle unfold inside you, a soft loosening, as if the tight places in your heart finally exhale. You do not have to explain why you feel many things at once. You do not have to resolve every paradox. You only have to be present. This is a place without conflict, not because there is no difference, but because difference is not feared. It is honored. It is welcomed. And in this moment, you are not pulled apart by your complexity. You are held by it. Let that holding continue. Let it carry you deeper. You are not here to make sense of it. You are here to rest within it. In this place where everything is true, you are allowed to be whole. Every part of you, every path you've ever dreamed. Let that truth cradle you now. Let it rock you into sleep. Are you the original? As you drift deeper into the layered stillness, a quiet question rises within you. It does not demand an answer. It does not even need one. But it settles in your thoughts like a feather resting on still water. Are you the original? You who breathes here, who listens now, whose heart has held dreams and doubts alike. Are you the first version, the root, or just one of many reflections echoing through the branching maze of time? There is no fear in this question, only curiosity. You begin to wonder, gently, what it even means to be the original. In a universe where every choice gives rise to another path, where each moment becomes many, the idea of a single starting point becomes soft and uncertain. Perhaps the self you know is just one thread in a vast and endless weave. And yet, you do not feel small. You feel expansive. You are not less because you are not alone. You are more. What if each you is just as real, just as valid? One version chose to stay, another to leave. One spoke the truth, another waited in silence. None of them are mistakes. Each carries its own beauty, its own lessons. The idea of the original begins to fade, like a line in sand washed by tide. What remains is presence. This moment, this awareness, this breath, and it is enough. You are not diminished by the existence of others like you. You are deepened by them. In the great ocean of selves, you are a wave, brief, unique, rising and falling in your own rhythm, shaped by what came before, shaping what comes after. There is no need to find the first. You are here. You are now. And that is the only beginning that matters. The others are not strangers. They are you, walking beside you in unseen lanes. The laughter you never shared, the pain you never felt, the love that never reached you, all of it still exists somewhere. And that means you are never without. You are surrounded by wholeness. Let the question fall away now. Let the wonder stay. Whether you are the original or not does not change the truth of this moment. That you exist. That you are loved by a universe vast enough to hold every version of you. Let that be your answer. Let that be your rest. The final branch. There comes a moment, not at the end, but near the edge, where all the paths you've touched begin to fold inward like petals at dusk. You drift now toward that place, slow and calm, wrapped in the hush of everything you've seen and everything you've become. The final branch is not a conclusion. It is a point of quiet convergence. You may wonder if this is where the story stops. If this is the moment when the tree of possibilities finds its last leaf. But as you float closer, you see that nothing truly ends. The tree does not wither, it rests. This branch does not hold answers, it holds stillness, a sacred pause in the ever-expanding forest of what could be. And as you rest within it, you begin to feel the weight of all the versions of you settling beside you, not to be counted or compared, but simply to be felt. They are not strangers. They are echoes, mirrors, companions. Their joys and sorrows hum beneath your skin. Their choices do not overwhelm you. They remind you of your depth. Every moment you've lived, every moment you might have lived, they gather here now like light folding into a single star. The final branch is not a destination. It is a reflection, a place where the noise quiets and you are allowed to feel how far you've come. Not in miles, in being, in knowing, in softness. There is no pressure here to decide what happens next. Only the gentle permission to rest in what is. You are not asked to look back. You are not pushed to look ahead. You are held, simply and fully, in the center of all that might ever be. This is the pause before the next breath, the silence before a new beginning. And as you rest here, something inside you softens even more. You begin to understand that even if the branches go on forever, even if the story never truly ends, it is this stillness that gives it shape. You are not lost in the forest. You are the forest. Every path has led to this moment, and every version of you has been walking home. So breathe softly. Let this quiet stay with you. Let this final branch hold you gently, just a little longer. Sleep between realities. And now the journey softens. You've drifted through the branches, touched the threads, heard the hum of parallel lives and the stillness of forgotten worlds. You have wandered far, not in distance, but in depth. And in this final moment, the space around you settles. There is no more to seek, nothing more to understand. Just the quiet, and you, gently floating in the in-between. This is the space where the multiverse rests, not in darkness or light, but in a calm that cradles all things. A place without borders, without names. Here, you are no longer watching realities unfold. You are lying among them, wrapped in their softness, held in the gentle warmth of everything possible. You do not have to choose which world to return to. You do not even have to remember which ones you passed through. All of them rest within you now, not as burdens, but as lullabies. Each version of you sleeps beside you, like stars scattered through the same sky. Their dreams hum with yours. Their breath moves in rhythm with your own. You are not alone. You never were. The quiet between realities is not empty. It is full of kindness, full of knowing, full of the deep comfort that nothing is lost. Everything you are, everything you were, everything you might be, all of it is safe here. You are safe here. Let go now. Let the last questions fade. Let the last thoughts melt into stillness. You are not falling asleep. You are sleeping across realities, sleeping with the stars, with the quiet ones, with every thread of yourself wrapped into one. There is no need to return quickly. The world will wait. Time will wait. For now, you are allowed to stay suspended in this peace, wrapped in all that ever was, all that ever could be. The multiverse breathes slowly around you, not with urgency, but with care. And so do you. Sleep now. Sleep gently. Somewhere you are still awake, but here you are free.